Hey, so I wanted to quickly touch base on my thoughts of using GPT Mini after the 50K sci-fi novel. If you've seen the video, you know that GPT went off course. And it went off course repeatedly and had to be brought back and then went off course again. And it was not my favorite. I'm glad that the novel got done. But in the end, as somebody pointed out, it didn't end up being a sci-fi novel. By the end, it was, she was a therapist and kind of destructive. But, we stuck with it and got it done, and, we can move on from there. So, it was a good experiment with Mini in that, I saw just how cheap it was because the whole thing ended up being less than 50 cents to complete the entire novel. Super cheap. The prose was okay. It wasn't fantastic. The original idea, though, I really like the original idea. That first chapter was great. It started getting off course. And it got off course right away. So, the price is excellent, of course. I used it through OpenRouter, so it was dealing with the entire novel. It needed a lot of intervention, but I do like it, and I do see the application for it. With outlining, brainstorming, talking back and forth, if you need like taglines and things, flash fiction, absolutely. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to turn off haiku, remove haiku. I just have Mini turned on. I'm going to go here. I don't really need chat memory, but I do want max tokens. So let's see what it says. So we're talking about chills down the spine. Elena is a pretty common AI name. But let's take a look at the actual prose. Creepy. I like creepy. Right, that's actually kind of creepy, kind of fun. Like, up until the very last bit, I was like, oh god, we made it a nice story. We did one of those, we vanquished the ghost, and now everything's great. And then we're here, and it's like, okay, we were going nice, and then we came right back down to horror and creepy, which I appreciate. I'm glad that we went here. Prose, though. Could be a lot tighter. We're using words like palpable, chill down our spine. It's definitely tighter. I don't know if it lost some of the charm, though. Mm-hmm. Okay. How does this one compare to the others? So my prompts so far were, can I get a short horror story flash fiction, make it scary and creepy as possible, about 500 words long? We got this one. Can you tighten up the prose a bit? It's a bit flowery, was my next prompt. We got a new one. Which version do you prefer? Minnie was like, we don't have a personal preference, but here's some observations. And then I said, if someone enjoyed a 500-word flash fiction that was horror and wanted to be scared, which is better? It told us the tightened prose one. I asked it to amp up the horror in the tightened version. How does this one compare to the others? Okay, yeah, and then in the end, the amplified tightened version. So, tightened from the flowery prose of the first one, but amplified the horror, so it became a little bit longer. But in the end, a nice middle ground. So, my overall thoughts about Mini. Great price, absolutely. Excellent at short works, like short stories, flash fiction, like this. Absolutely. If I was doing a bunch of short horror, I would use it. I would use it with a mix of others because I like having kind of a variety of AIs if I'm doing an anthology. But I like what it gave us. I like how it was able to give different variations without losing what it actually was doing. I like that it didn't get off course. So, absolutely. Would I use Mini again? Yes. Would I use Mini again for a novel without having some kind of structure like you do with Raptor or Novel Crafter? Absolutely not. Just because in Open Router it got so off course and so just wild where it completely lost what the story was. Like if, say I didn't edit anything and I told you the original premise and I told you the original blurb and you were thinking that was some kind of mind manipulation thing and it was sci-fi and it was futuristic, by the time that you got to the end of that book, you would be so upset because in the end it was not sci-fi and it was not futuristic. It started out that way. It started out really strong, but it took so much of getting it back on topic that by the time it was done, I was so frustrated with that book. But could it do well with a more structured outline? Like with Novel Crafter, Raptor? Absolutely. So, yes, it does have its points. Yes, it does have applications in what we do with fiction writing. Would I use it in Open Router for a novel, though? No. Would I use it in Open Router for something up to, say, 20K? Yes, absolutely. And that 20K would probably cost you like 30 cents to create. So, is it worth using? Absolutely yes. Is it worth using in the way that I used it? Probably not. Not unless you want the frustration. Will I continue to use Mini? Yes, in shorter works. So, if you haven't known, if I haven't talked about this much, I love Claude projects, but Claude projects cut you off every few hours. So when I'm not using Claude projects, I will use Open Router, I'll be in Novel Crafter, I'll be in Raptor. I'm in all of the projects daily. Every single program that I use daily. So even though I love Claude, I'm not going to waste hours of productivity time. I could be editing, I could be creating more flash fiction, I could be creating short stories. Stuff like that I use outside of Claude. So, what I was getting back to was absolutely use Mini if you like it. The prose is pretty good. The prose is a little flowery, but we can always tell it, hey, be less flowery. Like you saw, it does that well. It doesn't get a lot of backtalk, meaning it's not like, here, I will write that for you and I will do this, and how do you care about this, and how do you feel about that? There wasn't any of that. It was just, okay. See, we didn't even get an, okay, I will help you write that. We just got a, here's the book. Take it or leave it. And then it revised easily. Knew exactly what I was looking for. It gave reasons. So, expanding, like if you gave it a chapter and asked it to expand, yes. I would do shorter paragraphs though, like 1 page, or specific scenes, and say, I want more details in this, or I want you to amplify the fear in this. So, yes, I would do that. Of course, flash fiction, short stories. But within Open Router, say you don't use Raptor and you don't use Novel Crafter, within Open Router, I would stick to shorter pieces with Mini, unless you are absolutely on top of it and you're okay going back and saying, hey, this doesn't work with the rest of the book, you're getting off topic, you need to fix this. If you're okay doing that, then that's fine. You do whatever works best for you. But this is how I would use Mini. And it's in Open Router, short stuff, expanding stuff, getting feedback, and working on brainstorming and ideas. Because it'll give those ideas. Absolutely. See? Let's do one more thing really quick. Didn't ask for an outline, but here we go. Alright, so we are back to Elysium, which if you use Mini, you're going to have to be careful with because Elysium is apparently a theme. Okay. Gee, this sounds fun. This sounds like a fun book. We have all the supporting characters. Again, we have Alana. Cool. Yeah, see what I mean? Very good at brainstorming, creating ideas, creating chapters. It's just not great at the actual follow through. It's not great at, by the time that we get to chapter 20, still knowing what it's supposed to be doing. We may end up, writing a historical fiction at that point or something. Is it will get off course. Unless you intervene and remind it repeatedly, and that just gets frustrating. But would I take this and go into Novel Crafter with it? Absolutely. This sounds like a fun book. Would I go into Raptorite? Sure. Absolutely. I may even do the first 2 chapters in Open Router, but I would not go beyond that, just because we start to deviate pretty quickly. So hopefully this got you interested in writing with Mini, because Mini is fantastic. It's just not fantastic for certain things. And that's okay. They each have their limitations and their strengths. So thank you for being here. So happy that you're here. I really appreciate the support and you being here. So, thank you.